They say once you cross 75, time becomes your shadow, not because you're nearing the end, but because it's the one thing you must now pay attention to with a different kind of urgency. If you're watching this, you either care deeply about someone who's a senior, or you are one. What I'm about to share could change how those next years play out dramatically. I'm not here to scare you. I'm here to equip you with knowledge that most people, even many doctors, only discuss behind closed doors. Because here's the truth. Most seniors who pass away within a few years of turning 75 aren't dying of just old age. They're quietly taken by 8 interwoven issues that rarely show up in test results until it's too late. And yet, each one of them can be slowed, managed, even reversed if caught early. I'm going to walk you through each of these, not with technical jargon, but through real stories, clear facts, and with the kind of plain truth you can act on. Starting today, let's begin with the story of Mary Ann. She was 76 when her daughter brought her in. Said she'd been falling asleep during dinner, missing steps on the staircase, forgetting names she once said with ease. We ran tests. Nothing urgent, they said, but I knew better. I looked deeper, and what we found wasn't just age, it was silent inflammation in the brain. The kind caused by years of undetected microvascular damage, tiny blood vessels in the brain clogging up from years of poor circulation. This was the first issue. Silent strokes. Not the kind that drops someone suddenly, but the ones that quietly chip away memory, balance, clarity. They often begin in the early 70s, go undetected, and by 80, many seniors are deeply impacted. But here's the good news. Marian changed her diet. We introduced daily walks, omega-3s, hydration protocols, and breathing exercises. 6 months later, she was sharper, steadier. So her brain wasn't gone, it was starved. We fed it, and it responded. You see, silent strokes aren't just medical, they're preventable lifestyle signals. Then there was Mr. Jamal, 79, former truck driver, always proud of his endurance. He came in because he couldn't shake a lingering cough. Turned out it wasn't his lungs, it was his heart. More specifically, his resting heart rate had crept up over the years. And this leads us into the second silent issue, gradual cardiovascular drift. The heart starts working harder to pump the same amount of blood, and over time, this leads to congestive heart failure symptoms, fatigue, shortness of breath, brain fog. What shocked Jamal was that he never had chest pain. That's the thing, many seniors never do, but they get weaker, tire faster, and write it off as aging. We placed him on a supervised walking plan, a salt reduction diet, and micro-dose beta blockers. Today, he takes slow, 30-minute walks with his grandson every morning. Third is a story not often told about nutrition. I met Greta, 82, at a community center. She was vibrant, witty, sharp as a tack, but she fainted during a bingo game. At first, we thought blood sugar, but tests revealed something else entirely, chronic micronutrient deficiency. Seniors often eat less, absorb less, and metabolize poorly. Greta's levels of B12, magnesium, and vitamin D were severely depleted, and this affects everything from balance to mood to immunity. After just 8 weeks of targeted supplementation and a protein-rich diet, Greta said, I feel like someone turned the lights back on. Now let's talk about something most won't: muscle atrophy. This one's tricky because it hides behind phrases like, I just don't have the strength I used to. Sarcopenia, the medical term, begins to accelerate around 70, but most people notice it when getting up from a chair becomes an effort. The danger, it leads to falls, hospitalizations, and reduced independence, but it's not inevitable. With resistance bands, even chair-bound seniors can regain strength. Saw it with Roger, 78, who went from using a walker to climbing stairs in 3 months. Fifth comes sleep, or rather the destruction caused by the lack of it. Sleep disorders in seniors often get dismissed as just part of aging, but poor sleep contributes to cognitive decline, heart issues, depression, even weakened immunity. I had a patient, Lila, 80, who kept waking up at 2 a.m. Found the culprit wasn't insomnia, it was late-day caffeine and an unaddressed anxiety loop triggered by watching nightly news. With mindfulness therapy and sleep hygiene practices, she started sleeping through the night. Seeks this something families feel more than seniors themselves: emotional isolation. Loneliness is now considered as dangerous as smoking 15 cigarettes a day. And post-75, social circles shrink fast, friends pass away, mobility declines, children move. Harold, 85, hadn't spoken to anyone for days when he walked into my clinic. Not a soul. We connected him to a local seniors call group, and just one weekly chat brought back laughter, memory, energy. 7th, digestion. You'd think this isn't a big deal, but slow digestion leads to nutrient deficiencies, toxic build up, and gut-brain axis disruptions. Constipation is Not just discomfort, it's a warning sign. Once we introduced Harold to a high-fiber breakfast routine, probiotics, and gentle abdominal massage, his clarity improved. Yes, clearer mind from a better gut. Eighth, perhaps the most overlooked, is medication overload. Seniors often see multiple doctors, and with each visit comes another pill. Mala Pharmacy is a silent killer. One of my oldest patients, 90-year-old Priya, was taking 17 different medications. After a careful review, we cut it down to 7. Her hands stopped trembling, her appetite returned, and for the first time in years, she laughed freely, fully. Sadie shoes don't just sneak in, they settle comfortably in silence, but they are not unbeatable. The key is vigilance. Simple lifestyle changes, the right questions, regular check-ins, and most importantly, awareness. If you've made it this far in the video, you now know more than most. Share it with your parents or grandparents, with caregivers and communities. Don't wait for symptoms. Don't normalize fatigue, confusion, imbalance, or withdrawal. These are not just signs of getting old. They are cries for help, and help is here. I've been a doctor for over 30 years, and if there's one truth I've learned, it's this. Age doesn't kill people. Neglect does. Inattention does. Silence does. Let's break that silence. Start today. Take a walk. Review your meds. Call someone. Drink water. Sleep well. Reclaim your years, because after 75, you don't have less life, you just have less room for error. But with the right knowledge, you can make every year count. More energy, more clarity, more joy. That's not just possible, it's waiting. Thank you for watching, and thank you for caring. Now go be the reason someone lives longer and better. Thank you for taking the time to watch and listen. If anything in this video made you pause, think, or remember someone you love, don't let that moment pass. These next years can be full of energy, connection, and clarity, but only if we pay attention and take small, steady steps. The information you now have is powerful, and it's meant to be shared. Whether you're a senior yourself or someone who cares deeply for one, remember, it's never too late to start making changes. Simple things like moving more, eating better, sleeping well, and staying connected can make a real difference. And if something feels off, trust that feeling and look deeper. Don't wait. Don't write it off as just aging. You have more control than you think, more time than you may believe, and more power to make these years not just longer but better. So go ahead, take that first step today, and be proud. Because what you do now could change someone's life, maybe even your own.